Hi Adventure 2, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm gonna talk about the new Jeffery Star palette. This one. I'm a big fan of his products, I'm a big fan of his concealers, I'm a big fan of his formula, and I've got a few palettes from him. Right, I have the Blue Blood, I have Beauty Killer, I've got Blood Sugar, I've got Androgyny, I've got the Jawbreaker, and I've got Alien. First things first, the names on the palette, I'm not going to mention some of the names because it's not appropriate for eyeshadow names, it's not appropriate for youngsters, teenager audience, whatever, but that's another story. Anyway, I'm just here to review the palette, to review the quality of the palette, and to let you know if it's worth, how much is it? £59. Number one, I really think this palette caters for more of a light skin tone. I mean, I'm quite dark, and I can assure you that all of these colors on my skin, they're quite pale. So let's say Blowout, for example, right? So can you see? There is another shade, Bed or Floor, which is this one, right? Again, it's quite pale on me. It is good as a transition shade, but there's another color called Seduction. Like, these names are okay to name in a palette, but the rest, I'm not gonna mention the rest of the names. There's also this color, Teach Me. Like, they're quite chalky, okay? They're quite chalky, they're very soft, but they're chalky. Like, all of them, all of the matte colors is same consistency. There's no shimmers or there's no metallic or anything, which I really disliked. It is an all matte palette, but do you need 30 shades? No. If it was my palette, I would pick Blowout, Top, Craving Chocolate, Money Shot, Happy Ending, Invitation Only, and that is it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is it. However, this palette reminds me a lot of the Jawbreaker in terms of the texture, in terms of the finish of the texture of the palette. Now I see this palette and I feel inspired. I feel like I can do things with this palette. Whereas see this palette, it's just, oh, I'm like, why? I'm so frustrated because I put some colors on my, it's a messy palette, or maybe I'm a messy user, I'm not sure. There is a fallout, it doesn't bother me, it's whatever, just to putting it out there. I'm gonna insert a clip where I struggle to blend. So basically what I was trying to do, if you're gonna use it as a single color, I don't know if this is a pressed pigment, it almost performs as if it's a pressed pigment. It reminds me a lot of, where are you? Believe it or not, the Subculture palette. So with this palette, as we all know, you can't layer it up because it's just, the colors are gonna feather out, number one. And number two, I use it on a wet base, I don't use it on a powder base. Anyway, even whether you do the base or the other base or whatever, or your own bare eyelid or whatever you choose to do, the colors are gonna fluff out. I mean, I'll just show you. I was looking for a chocolate palette, like brown palette. Don't be fooled by the pigment, trust you me, don't be fooled. Once you put it on the eyelid, can you see? It is not consistent. This is the name of the palette. Do you see what I mean? It's so chalky. I promise you, when I was putting it on my eyes, I struggled. Now these colors are beautiful, but once you put it on your eyelid, they're all the same. They're all the same color. I'm like, what is going on with Jeffrey? Honestly, what's going on? Did he just go to the lab and trash some colors together and put it on a palette? Like, that is not a quality palette. I saw actually a Snapchat of his. I don't think there was a work that gone into this. Honestly, it's not like his performance. Let me wash my hands. Honestly, I struggled with this palette. Basically, if you wanna layer a color, let's say invitation only, you put it on, and then let's say you want to blend Craving Chocolate underneath it. Can you see? It comes out the same color. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I'll try it with my hands. That's Invitation Only, and that's Craving Chocolate. Okay, let's try another hand. And it's just the same thing. Do you know what I mean? You don't... They are pigmented, and the color is there. There is a pigment there, but... Hold on. Let me show you another palette of Jeffrey. And that's the quality that he normally brings out. And that is a quality. That's in the Alien palette. And in the shade it's called Space Cowboy. Yeah, Space Cowboy. Now that is a chocolate color. Is gorgeous. Palette is gorgeous. Formula is the same as well. Quite powdery. But the pigment is there. And they don't fluff out. That one is not too much on my skin tone. But you know the case because I'm not pale. Right, that is, can you see? It's not matte, I know, but we love a nice shade. It's not about matte. It's nothing about all the way matte, but look at that. That is a shade, you know? That is a brown. Where is the, let's say, this color in there? Do you see the difference? Actually, there is also another palette of Jeffrey that I could compare. And that is Androgyny, and that's Dominatrix, this color. And I'll show you how, obviously, I'm gonna use this hand because this hand is clean. Even the texture is different. Do you see? Do you see how the pigment is so different? Do you know what I mean? None of these colors that is in his new palette should be new, improved, fantastic. You're paying £59. None of it compare. Well, I'm just taking the nudes. Let's say this nude is a safe word. It's a nude. Do you see? And do you see the nude there? Do you see the difference? I hope you can see the difference. It is not as chalky. Even those. Do you see? This is not chalky as this. Is the slightest difference that makes a difference in makeup. Oh, I'm so frustrated. Why? I wanted it to work. Oh, I mean, I love browns. There's this color. It's intravenous. Yeah. So let me... the texture is different. Do you see? That's a bit reddish brown, but... just so you see the quality is so, don't tell me is different than this arms. You understand what I mean? Do you know what I mean? What else? I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna charge £59 for this palette, I'm expecting an experience. I'm expecting an inspiration. but I really think if the colors were performed differently on the eyelid, and if you can showcase each color as how it should be, I would love the palette, I would love the colors, I'd love everything. Even though the first 2.5 row is not for me, but whatever, I can still manage. But let's say when I try to build it up, it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. And this color, the name of the palette, or this is kind of going towards blackish brown than brown or red base brown, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for chocolate brown, like galaxy chocolate. That's the color I'm looking for, which is, this is the closest color that I'm looking for normally in brown. But obviously this is not matte, but there you go. That's it about the palette, about Jeffree Star palette. I don't mean to be negative, I don't mean to be very critical, but being a palette collector, having a lot of his palettes, trying other palettes. I mean, when you look at, let's say for example, Pat McGrath, you're paying £111 for a palette. You get an experience with this palette. You get a payoff, you know. Let's say this color here. Let me find a clean finger. And do you see what I mean? You get an that's a bad swatch, but you get an experience with color. Like, you get the texture, the velvet, it's not powdery. Do you see the difference? Can you see the difference in the pigmentation? And that was Jeffrey's. Like, what happened? What's this? What's going? I'm so frustrated because I really wanted a nude palette. And he just didn't deliver the nude palette. He really didn't. Sorry, mate. Sorry. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Jackie Aina. This is Credit. It's also one of, I bought this palette because I love the color story and because of the brown. Do you see? Do you see? He almost have the same quality as Anastasia, but but yeah, I'm trying to make a comparison on everything. I'm trying to make a fair share of review, like a fair share of opinion. I don't want to, I'm just reviewing a product, and I'm reviewing a quality versus a quality. This is my review about Jeffree Star. I compared it to some of his palettes, some of other palettes. It's just not up there. It's just not up there anymore. I hope he redeems himself. Maybe replace it with a better palette, with a better nude palette. I don't know. I mean, this is just shit. This is shit. Even on his video, when he made a video to talk about his launch, he didn't swatch the colors on his hands. Normally he does it there, and he just inserted the photo. No, it felt rushed. Even the video was rushed. And there's a mini palette of, like, a separate palette of all the shimmers, the metallic color. No boy, no. Anyway guys, that's my review on Jeffree Star. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.